This might be like the best anime so far.
You think so?
Well, I mean, like, I just can't think of a time when I was just like, like.
I definitely can't think of a show that I've watched in a long time where I was that stressed out when really there wasn't anything going
Like from
on.
the fucking get. Like I mean,
Yeah,
like from the get, because it's like I didn't read like the genre that
yeah,
this was,
yeah.
and that wouldn't help
No.
because I still don't know what the genre is. like I saw on Crunchyroll, it has two tags. One is erased, and the other is mystery. But it's so much more than that. So welcome to Two Dimensional Champions. I'm your host, Thaddeus Sadner. This is Julian
Julian,
Julian.
Julian. And this is a special emergency
This is
broadcast.
this is an emergency broadcast after watching the fifth episode of Erased.
Yes, today that's our show today.
Uh,
The Japanese title, I'm not going to say it in Japanese, but the title of the manga and the title of the show that comes up is "The Town Where Only I Am Missing," which
that's
is a
also
fucked up title.
what the fuck?
That's a fucked up title, especially if you've watched even just an episode of this show, which I don't know how you can just watch
Oh
one
my
because
god!
this was something else.
I know how you can watch one because after you watch an episode, you feel like you're gonna fucking die. So
Yeah,
you need to like you stop watching just because you have like fear of cardiac arrest, just the fucking
yeah.
of death.
I almost passed out during I think episode 4 with the birthday. I was almost
It's so
gone.
because the birthday
Yeah.
like didn't like the birthday was like a feels like a feel good thing for me. It didn't freak me out,
I
but
like that whole episode. I was so stressed that when they got to the birthday, I was like, "Someone's gonna fucking come. Something's gonna happen."
right.
And then what fucking happened? What
So
fucking
if you
happened?
have any requests, send them at 2dcrequests@gmail.com. Um, I don't know anything
Uh,
else. What else do you need
you
to
can,
tell them so we can get into the anime?
yeah. You can follow me on Twitter at Julalian at Selfcouth Comics. Yeah, let's just. We don't have time to check
We don't have
emails or anything.
time. Okay.
Well,
So,
yeah.
non-spoilery. Let's. Oh wait, do you want to do the studio stuff? Have you looked at this?
Yeah,
Okay.
real quick.
Okay, go for it.
Got
Go for it.
it. So this is it's animated by A1 Pictures. It's licensed by Aniplex of America. That means it's probably going to come out on home video here soon. It's streaming on Crunchyroll, Daisuki, and
Oh,
Funimation.
nice.
So if you're so just like a quick little public service announcement. If you're watching this show illegally, you've got no fucking excuse. Like you've got no fucking excuse.
You're really just an asshole.
You're really just a dick because it's streaming on all of the sites, all of
All
them.
the
So
things.
we'll just put that out there. It's going to be a 12 episode show. It's directed by Tomohiko Ito, who directed Silver Spoon, Sword Art Online 2, and he directed a show called Anohana, or The Flower That We Saw That Day.
Was that the one you like recommended?
Yeah, it's good, and it fucks you up. It's like this.
Okay.
It's like this bullshit,
Okay.
where it's like dramatic shit happens.
Okay.
Interestingly, we've done a lot of light novels and stuff like that recently, and novels actually like Perfect Insider and stuff recently. This is actually based on a manga written and illustrated by Ki Sanbe. And it's serialized in Kadokawa Shoten's Young Ace magazine. It's been running since 2012, and it's actually set to end on March 4th while the anime is running, which means we could get the whole story in these 12 episodes. It's a very short manga. It's only like
oh shit!
Yeah. So as soon as I read that it was 12 episodes and it was based on an ongoing manga, I shot my pants because I was like, "Fuck, it's gonna end halfway through the story or in the first 3 books, and I'll just be fucked for the rest of my life because I will never get over the show." The show looks like I haven't read it officially, but it looks like the show will cover the whole story
That's
the manga's
insane.
ending in a couple
The
weeks.
show is insane.
So it actually reminds me, they did that with Full Metal, the last Full Metal Alchemist series, where they timed it so that the manga ended like a month or a few weeks before the anime ended. So they did the ending. They actually,
That's awesome.
You know, really, I don't know if they meant for that to happen, but it was
dude, if
really well done.
if there's like crazy shit, like if this doesn't end in an okay way, like
I'll have problems.
yeah,
I will have problems.
someone will die. I mean, I won't be the only person with these problems. I will put these problems onto someone else.
So that's it. Let's get right into the non-spoiler overview, and then we'll.
Yeah. So if you like having a heart attack, or I mean, so I don't know. I don't know who to write. It's definitely like intended for mature audiences. It's crazy because it like I don't know what the majority of it, if it's based on when he's a kid or not, but there's a lot of like kid stuff in it, but like very, very mature adult stuff too. So it's like,
yeah, I'd really recommend this for any adult who enjoys good stories, or good dramatic stories. Like if you enjoy like, this is a great binging show too. If I almost watched episode 6 and I was like, I can't do it because I don't want to fuck with the podcast. You know what I mean?
Right. But
also,
I'll watch it as soon as we're done with this.
Oh yeah, like
we
immediately.
Can watch it together.
Yeah. And if the whole series was available, this would be a longer episode.
Yeah.
I mean, really, that's I just. So the one thought that, and this applies to the overview real quick. One thought that I had, kind of about episode 2, I think, was that with a lot of the shows we've watched, they're funny, they're good. We've gone through a lot of interesting varieties and stuff like that. But otherwise, I was like, I actually didn't think an anime could make me feel like this.
Yeah, like
I really.
It pushes the good bar up for me.
Yeah. Yeah,
it does
exactly.
And it's not like, I mean, there's different anime. Like, this isn't to discredit like all the classics. I'm not trying to like overhype it, but like there's like a feels to this. Like you get engrossed in a way that like was really surprising to me.
Yeah, I mean, I got wrapped up in a way that I haven't since the first time watching a lot of those classics and stuff, where I would actually like get up at a certain point and just be staring at it being like, what the fuck's going to happen? But a lot of those shows, maybe it was the whole series, maybe it was the last few.
Right. Like there's just a couple of episodes that like really get you, and they really get you good, and you're like, this is what's up.
You're at the end, you're at the movie, or whatever, like, and then you're like really fucking in it. But this, like, episode 1,
I mean, I think even with Grand Logon, you were like, you can like watch the first episode, then like skip a few, and then really get into it, and it really picks up, and then like it was just fucking amazing.
Yeah, there's anime has most of the classics, I'd say, are really great slow burn shows, or you get something like FLCL or something that's just so fucking nuts but it's so short that it just doesn't have the same feeling. Whereas this, like,
it fucking tricks you. It makes you think it's gonna slow burn you, and then it turns it up to 11.
And this guy is really. I mean, he's a great storyteller because I think it's a guy. I have Ki Sanbe. I apologize if it's not, but I just can't tell. You really get that feeling where he's like, I know you think this is gonna take a while.
I mean,
and he's like, no.
God. So I mean, yeah, I recommend it, for mature audiences only. The only downside that it potentially has is I'm not sure if like you can really if I'm not sure if you can really like watch it a second time. Maybe you can. I don't know. Like I'm not
Yeah, I
sure
mean
about
that.
it. It's rewatchability.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, it doesn't really have scenes where like you were actually like that Aizen fight scene you were watching. You know,
Right, where you
where
just want to watch that over and over and over
yeah, where you
again.
just like loop it. You know, and we'll do Aizen in a later. That was Uh, but so yeah, it'd be interesting to watch it again. But I will say that I felt that the voice acting, the animation, and
Everything was super top notch. But I mean, and it's one of those
yeah,
things. It's like you can read a really good book and not need to want to read it again. You know, it's like
yeah,
still like it's a great story so far. You
yeah,
know, and
and the fact that the anime has the chance to adapt the entire story. Uh,
thank you. You know,
yeah,
like
that's a huge relief, and also it has the chance to really get something that's on a whole really good, and not
right.
just like the first half is awesome or something like that. So yeah, I'd say this is easily one of my highest recommendations I've given so far.
Yeah, I actually already recommended it to someone before we started this.
Shit. All right.
I was like, yo, bro, watch this
Yeah,
now.
yeah. And I had heard a lot of buzz about it, just like on Twitter and stuff like that online, prior to knowing anything about it. And I'm really happy I went in stone cold without any idea of what was going to happen.
Yeah, I really and you
Because then
know like I
that's
mean you hear a lot about pretty much about every any anime every season you hear buzz, but
well,
and
you hear a
everyone
lot of
talks about how great something is, but
yeah.
there's like different levels.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I mean, even
it
now, I'm
makes
sure there's someone listening to us being like, "Is it really that great, guys? Like, is it really that good?" Well, fucking watch it, bro.
yeah.
Trust.
No, it is. I mean, it's kind of like I heard a lot of buzz with One Punch Man. You watch it, and you're like, oh, that's really good. This is like a different kind of buzz.
Right.
I can see like
Whole another
the
world.
yeah, I would just say just watch it. Even if the genre doesn't look like something that you would check out, if like the slice of life thing, or if the synopsis
Whatever
that
the
you see,
genre is, whatever you think it is. I thought it was about a manga illustrator. I thought that Erased was like about how he freaking drew manga and then erased it. Guess who was wrong? I was like, Jesus Christ! All these weeaboos have recommended another like weird like manga making anime. Like, what's this
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
be? Took me for a freaking ride, man. Like,
yeah, that went away pretty quick.
yeah,
That got yeah. So I'd say yeah, fucking watch it.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
you want to just go
That's
into it?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
going into the time. Okay,
yep.
yeah. Oh man, what was it? It's so what it's so weird. Like I thought it was really funny. Like at the very beginning when it was always about like there's like a it sort of like hits you with a lot of like philosophical ish sort of and like old man ish stuff. Like
Yeah,
yeah, I'm what do you say? I'm scared to get to the heart of my own mind. You know, and then that made me think about how like you can be sort of scared to really delve into yourself, and I think that a lot of people just have a hard time going in deep just from that stand alone. I don't think it really has. I
yeah,
mean, clearly it's because in this show he's oppressing a whole bunch of like
yeah.
memories. Like
There's a lot.
the
Of,
shit
yeah,
went
there's a
down.
lot
But
of
I was just
ish
thinking,
back
it's like,
there. Yeah.
yeah, man. Sometimes I think about like not getting to the heart of my own mind too.
Yeah, and it's but it can be interpreted a lot of different ways, and it really hits home, really for our age group. I mean, I like first 5 minutes of the show, I was like, well, okay, this is like a gut punch, this is like a
Right.
big,
Like way to call me
because
out, show.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And the editor that he's submitting work to says the same thing. He's like, if you put more of yourself into it, maybe it would come across the readers. But then he says too, it's like, well, maybe, how old are you again? Like, well, I don't know if you'll fit in
Is it
with.
even worth it now because you're so
Yeah,
old? Maybe if you tried a lot more when you were younger. I'm just like, God damn it, man!
yeah,
What do you mean?
yeah. And I mean, I think it's, I mean, just it's a very topical show. I mean, at least I thought it was a very topical show. I mean, I actually don't know how I would feel about it watching it if I were like 19 or something like that. I don't know if it would.
I like
I
how
don't.
with his younger coworker, he was always like, "Are these Generation
Well,
Y shows?"
yeah, yeah, and he's working at the pizza place and all that, and so already you've got a character who's I think a lot of reviews would just kind of write it off as the obvious, which is what you brought up too, which was he went through traumatic shit, and so he hasn't been able to fully tap into it. And I guess
I
that's
wouldn't
what the
even
author.
think like if I just knew that stuff going into it, I would have been like, okay, well, this is just like a sort of day to day life thing where this guy just like works at a pizza shop and then something, you know, he gets hit by an alien superpowers, or it's just about his like slice of life
Yeah, or he meets a girl or something
or
like
whatever.
that.
And it's slice of life. It seems really slice of lifey from
Yeah,
the get go. And then he's just riding his little scooter and he's like, oh, what's that? A fucking butterfly? And then it's like, boom, he's got superpowers.
yeah,
So
yeah. And then he resets time, and then even then I was like, what the fuck is this about? Like, I was
right,
like,
you still
I
don't
was like,
know. You still don't
what?
know.
And then where it hooked me was when he was like, okay, repeated. What am I supposed to see? And like he didn't know. Like he was like, something happened that I have to
Right,
catch.
right.
What was it? As soon as he said that, I was like,
I
oh,
was
I
like,
was
oh,
like,
that's interesting because he's looking
that's
around.
interesting.
You're looking
That's
around.
interesting. Yeah, and then the truck sequence and stuff, which was pretty tense. Like
Yeah,
I
like
was like,
I was like, well, that was intense, you know.
yeah,
And then like it goes to
yeah,
try to like wake the guy up. The guy had died. He had a cardiac arrest, and then
yeah,
well, it's like, oh god, well, I mean, that was just a side character, so I guess death really
yeah,
isn't even that big of a deal. I mean, it's just a side character, so it's whatever.
yeah.
And then oh god, so then it's like, so after his mom moves in with him and all the other jazz, when they're at the store and he sees the butterfly, then
Oh,
oh, so dude,
so
do you know what I think the butterfly thing is? Then
what's that?
it's not to save the girl, it's to save his mom. Because the guy notices his mom
Yeah, yeah, he does. Which
when he was trying to kidnap the little girl
yeah, and that was an interesting scene because
because nothing happened.
well, it was
But what
stopped
happened
essentially.
was
Yeah.
she got seen.
Oh, okay. I see what you meant. Yeah, the butterfly was meant for the mom. It wasn't.
Right,
Yeah, she was the one who
as a
stopped it.
viewer,
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah,
oh, it's to save this little kid from being kidnapped.
yeah,
But really, it was the first chance for him to save his mom.
yeah. That's right. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, because if he hadn't noticed her, yeah,
Or if yeah. Or it was to save the girl and then it was a victory and then the mom did it. I don't know, but like my sort of thing is it's like as I feel like that's like the what?
yeah. I mean, that was what I liked about it though was it, so the time travel thing is interesting, but it we've seen iterations of that sort of thing before, right?
Yeah.
So we've seen like the
Science
time
fiction
jump thing.
comes to mind.
Yeah. So what I liked about this is that even when it happens, it's not. It's yes, it's a save, but in another way, it's not because instead of just getting caught up in the usual like if you change something, it'll alter all of history. It's more like does he even have time to do anything about
Right?
it?
Can he
Like, can
even
he
figure it
actually?
out? Can he even do this?
Yeah,
And you don't know if it's gonna happen again.
yeah. It's not
It's
like
not
an
like oh,
obvious.
I'm gonna use this device and go back
Yeah,
in time.
and it's not like the shit is usually obvious. It's not like something explodes or something. I mean, the truck was obvious, but like, I mean,
No, well, I mean,
it's
the
not
truck wasn't obvious because
true. Yeah,
it was driving fine. Just the guy had
yeah,
died, so it was
yeah.
obvious once it. But he had his flashback thing before he saw the truck hit the
Truck.
kid.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
it's
Yeah,
always like before the bad thing happens, so you don't even know what the bad thing is.
yeah. But what I mean is, it wasn't just like like in American movies and stuff. It would be like a terrorist bomb or something like, or something. You know what I mean? Something really like, just really.
Right. Look at that shifty eyes guy. He's got
Yeah, yeah,
shifty
yeah, yeah.
eyes.
Whereas what I loved about, especially the sequence at the supermarket, was like I was looking at everything. I was like, well, was it the balloons? Like, was it? Was it
Can't
the?
trust those balloons.
Yeah, and then it was really it was just really well done. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like it really keeps you on edge
And
each time.
it brings the viewer into the experience, like
Yeah,
because he's trying to figure it out and you're trying to figure it out too, and you
Yeah.
know that there's not a lot of time because you just saw this like 30 seconds happen. So
Yeah. And now what's interesting is like, what did the mom know? So like, what did she know that she hadn't told him?
yeah,
That's
yeah, I'm pissed that he never looked at that freaking paper that he grabbed.
yeah. He still hasn't looked at the
I bet
fucking
that's in
note.
episode 6.
I,
Oh,
yeah.
by the way, mom dies. So that's the end of episode 1. You think everything's
Yeah.
fucking good and gravy, and then like at first, and like, even when the mom moves in, you're like, oh well, this is like a oh, annoying mom lives with the son, like whatever. Like it sort of like seems routine. It seems formulaic, you know?
Yeah. And it and it's just the interactions are well done enough so you get caught up in the he calls his mom a yokai because she can one of the folklore monsters in Japan and stuff
Oh,
one of the ghosts or like kappas or something
right,
like a this creature because she just notices stuff. She's got a very keen sense.
right.
She's up at like weird times. It's like, oh, you won't wake me up if you like, and so he keeps calling her that, right? And then you're like, and then his friend from work comes over, or she's invited over to have curry with them and stuff like
Right,
that. So you have a
very
lot of
like,
these
oh, are they gonna date? Like,
very sweet, because like it was just very nice, and like the main character is you like him. You know what I mean? He's not unrealistic. He's
he's sort of
not
like an antisocial asshole, but like,
yeah
he's also like sort of like a grumpy old dude. That's sort of the
yeah.
day to day.
But at the same time, it's not that he's just like a dick. Like he is like he
Right,
works hard. You really and you sympathize with his position. I especially do, which is like it's a difficult time
right.
basically. And his mom fucking dies, and that was like
And then he gets blamed for it. You later find
yeah
out that someone reported it before it even happened, so the police were on their way there. So that means it was the guy who killed them then
yeah
reported it. I think that was like,
yeah. And then you when he's looking through the other crimes, you see that that's like his mo is that he it gets shifted to somebody else. Like the dude at the bank and that or at the river bank
oh
like
yeah,
who
the
was
guy was like
so
the really
yeah
God. He was so like cute, like he's such
yeah
like a likable. He's like always stuttering and like he just seems like a really nice guy. And then you see
yeah because
his mugshot, like oh my God,
yeah and then he was also reading in episode 5 of the other kidnappings and like what was it the town and stuff like that where other people had been arrested and who all claimed to be innocent like there was never like
oh
there's
I
like at
missed
least
that part. Yeah,
yeah that was in
in
episode
the
5
writing. Oh wow,
he's in the library and he's looking through like the reports or something, and it's all like people who had claimed, oh, I never had anything to do with it, but they all went to jail for it.
right.
And it was always for kidnapping and stuff like that. And so I was like, so what this fucker does? And do you think it was the guy talking to the pizza dude in episode 5?
I think it was the guy talking to the yes. Well, I don't know because the thing is you saw. I think when the guy stabbed her, he had red eyes,
Yeah, and did you notice that the mom
and
of
the husband had red eyes.
would have red eyes, especially when like it seems like
Uh,
that's the signature for animosity, I guess, or
yeah. So
something
the,
like
the
that.
question is like, is it actually red eyes? Is in like whatever. This is anime land. They have red eyes,
Yeah.
or if it's just like a way to symbolize someone with like malicious intent.
I think it's the symbolism because I didn't recognize her having red eyes when they talked to the mom in like the normal scenes and stuff, where they didn't accent it. I
Oh,
didn't notice
I
that.
thought I thought she did, but I'm not sure actually. Now that you mentioned,
Yeah,
it, she might not have.
yeah, it was very subtle, but I think it's only for
I mean,
special shots.
I think that that a player is who he's talking to because then he saw the girl. Like we're in present day. We're just gonna do present day, then maybe past day. Like
Yeah,
we'll
we'll
just
do. Yeah, actually, let's do that because I think that might be the best way to talk about it. Actually,
but
because the guy also had like a little lapel, a little button
yeah,
or
which
something
it
on his
seemed to
coat.
be accented. Like it seemed to like it was supposed to stand out. I don't
Yeah.
know what it was there for.
Well, now I like gotta go back. Well, now I'm gonna like watch everybody who has like anything on their shirt. I just like
Show
it
me
was
your
interesting because
lapel. Show
yeah,
that to me.
he sounded like a bad guy, and then they didn't show his
He
face.
sounded like a government official too.
He did sound like that, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So the mom knew stuff, and she tried to like make him forget about it when he was a kid, because she didn't think kids should really go through something like that.
Right.
Ooh, which I can
Dude, when
kind
she was reaching for the phone to try to call him, and then the gloved hand just picks up the phone. Like, I thought that he was going to do something violent to the hand, but then no, he just was like, no, you're bleeding out. You don't have the energy to chase me. I'm just going to.
And then he called the girl with the
He
molly, or
texted
he
her
texted
and
her.
said, stay
Yeah.
where you are. What?
And now that has caught on fire. So now we don't know if that girl's dead.
So
or
right
something.
now we're actually jumping between episode 1 and episode 5.
Yeah.
So strap yourselves in, boys.
Yeah. uh,
Dude, do you want to know what my with my note taking, since we're just talking about episode 5, it was like episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, all these are normal. Episode 4, normal format. Episode 5, everything's in caps, and then it's like oh, because it started off in like the flashback, and so it started off with like, or like, was that her dead body? And then it's like, manager sold them out. It's like, can he go back again? Like, wow, she's hardcore as fuck. Like,
yeah, she punched that dude in the face.
Yeah, when the coworker punched the manager, broke the phone, and then punched him in the face.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious too, because I thought she would cry or something like that, or she'd be like, you know, you idiot or something. She
It
fucking
must be a Gen Y thing.
Must be a Gen Y thing. Well, actually, funny enough, we'd be her age back then, because this is 2006, right? We'd be like a year or two older than her, right?
Huh.
Like just a couple of years. So actually,
But and then it was like her dad stole a candy bar, got a divorce, and lost his job.
that I thought was harsh. That's the only.
I actually hear that like stealing, like that in Japan they do like guilty until proven innocent or whatever, and they take stuff like theft like crazy seriously. Like in
that actually helps for me to know.
Well,
because
this was also the comments of like Crunchyroll, so I don't know how legit they are, but that's just what people were saying.
I hope that's the case, because that was the one thing in the show where I was like,
yeah,
divorce a candy bar? I was like, what? That sounds harsh. Sounds like there's probably something else going on.
right. And then after that, one line, no. The next line, fucking. The next line, way. No fucking way. What? Oh my god.
Yeah, I have. There is and then I have. It's a trap for when he was at his boss's house eating
I didn't
dinner.
pick up on that. I thought that
They had the fucking Last Supper on the wall.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as I saw that, I was like, well, this is gonna go to shit real quick. Like, I was like, you'd think that dude would take that off the wall when he invited the guy over with the like intent to turn him over.
Right.
It's like, I'll just move this painting.
Like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear you're not getting along well with your mom. It's like, this guy's a fucking murderer.
Yeah.
God. And that was just 2 episodes. This is the first and last, but
Yeah.
oh yeah. So, and I don't even know if we mentioned that he freaking gets accused for murdering his mom.
Yeah.
Because like the neighbor comes around, sees blood on his hand, and he's like, "No, this isn't what's going on. What the fuck?"
Yeah, and that's what's interesting is like it was actually good that the neighbor freaked out, because if she hadn't like accidentally,
then the police would have just come in and arrested him.
The police would have just come in and arrested.
Yeah, he like went out there to try to explain, saw the cop cars, was like, "I gotta fucking go."
Yeah, which is I think a brilliant twist, because you know at the beginning you think it's the lady who it is the lady who sets him off, but later you learn that was actually like a good thing. I mean, you really, because you didn't know that the guy
because the murderer reported.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Fucking just. And like I feel like the sound is really done well in this show, because I feel like all the acting is really excellent, like really better than usual.
It's all. But then I feel like seems like insanely good.
Yeah, but the way the sound design is handled, because it's all subtle, it's not like there's robots or anything like that, but the way it's done makes you so nervous.
Yeah.
Like, because it's so subtle, and they really save those, like, the big noises for, like, when he jumps through time, or something like that. but the other stuff is like because even just the way they accented the sounds of him walking on the snow to like get to the girl.
Right. Yeah, it's like I words.
Yeah.
So let's talk about like when he went back in time. I
Yeah, because
wasn't expecting that. Like I just
yeah,
wasn't expecting because all the other times you saw the butterfly, it was moments before the murder. So I figured, or before the bad thing happened. So I figured it'd be like just a little bit before when so he could do something to try to save his mom, and then
yeah,
like things would just continue as normal, and he's got this sort of superpower where he's sort of trying to save these people.
yeah. And I actually a thought that I had too is since this was the same director as Anohana in that show, it's a ghost who talks to the main character, and
Okay.
he's the only one who can see her, and so he's the one who's like trying to like fix stuff, but he has to make everybody else like believe that he's really talking to this girl. So like I almost thought it would be something like that. Like it was like okay, maybe it's like a
Another crazy plot, whatever the twist thing is that he actually died when he got hit by the car. I don't know. Do you remember at the very beginning when he saved that little kid and then they hit a car and they're like, "Oh, you just got a little bump on your head. You're fine." He did a head-on collision with that fucking car.
oh that's true. He would have died,
Probably, maybe. I don't know.
but that he had no injuries is interesting.
No, no. I mean, well, he was out for 2 days.
He was out, but they said he wasn't like he didn't. You could leave. Like there wasn't any.
Yeah, which is crazy. I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure this is all crazy talk going on. We're all just trying to figure this shit
Well,
out
well, the show like makes you look at the small details, so it's like you
because
can't
it's
really.
the small details that can potentially save someone's life.
Yeah, and I thought that yeah. So he goes back in time, and that's actually the out of the 5 episodes, he spends three so far back in 1988. Um, I didn't know that was going to happen, so I was like, and I thought it was really cool how it was still his brain,
But in the kid's
but
thing, because all the
yeah,
times when he was like thinking something and accidentally said it out loud, it was like a really like it's like, oh well, that's because I chose not to lie to you. It's like, oh shit, I said that out
yeah.
loud, or like, oh, I think
Or
you're
your
full of
face looks
shit, or
cute.
whatever. It's oh shit, like
Yeah, I really like that, and I really enjoyed how because that's something too. If the writing wasn't as good as it is, I think it would be cheesy or something like that. But what I liked is the writing really gets home the point of okay, he's got an adult mind, but he's still a kid. Everybody's treating him as a kid,
and,
so it's
and
not
he
like
even
he
still reacts to things as a kid. Like he keeps on being like, "You're
yeah
29 years old. Fucking like why are you
yeah
blushing by putting your hand against this other person's hand? Like what the fuck?"
yeah, and but I thought that was interesting because especially when he's talking to Kaio's mom in the doorway to try to convince her to so he can take her to the science museum thing. I really felt that it was like if he was an adult,
Well, if he
he
was an
could do
adult,
something.
there'd be a whole lot of other issues in that situation.
Well, true, yeah, there would be there would be a lot more, but it's like you really feel that it's not just like it's not a cheesy thing that he's back to being a kid. It's like really like he's got this ability to rewind time, but at the same time he's still hampered by his abilities back then. It's not like he could do anything to this lady.
That's true, but there's
Uh,
so many things when I was like, well, yeah, like if I was an adult in that situation, I wouldn't have freaked out as a kid. But as a kid, how I mean, I got okay, I still sort of freak out about asking girls out, whatever. But like if I was like back in a kid's body, it would bother me like way less, like and be
I
like,
guess so.
you know,
Because part of it too is I would probably get sucked up in the atmosphere again, right?
right.
Because you're back in this place that so like you would automatically be informed by your environment.
It's like, oh my God,
I
you're
think
so bold. You're holding
yeah,
hands. It's like what?
I'm glad all the other kids were like so impressed.
Yeah.
It's like wow, he's really got balls. um, so I like all the characters. I thought
Yeah.
the kids were handled really
I
well.
can't get like the amount that I like that little airplane dude or whatever who's like trying to give the guy like good advice, but you can tell that he's also really insecure and stuff like that. And but he was like just trying to like help out that kid as
Yeah.
he wished that he would have helped out, like been helped out or whatever. It's like it seems so nice and sincere, so sweet, you know.
Yeah, and at
And then to know that he gets put in jail and
fucked
like
for that.
on
Yeah.
death row.
Death Row. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's and how he was I think he was stuttering because he was trying to cover for his accent. I think it was.
Oh, was it? I thought he
Yeah.
just had like a speech impediment. He said before that he wanted he tried to talk like a kid more so than as an adult in order to
Okay, maybe
like
that's what.
relate
Yeah.
that way. But I think his stuttering was just how he
Okay,
stuttered, like
just
how he spoke.
how he stuttered. Yeah, he was a really sweet character, and I really liked how delicately everything was handled because I mean also in a lot of shows, a lot of animes that are in middle school or like kind of sometimes the kids get really sexualized or something. The character designs are very like what I liked is like this all looks natural. It all looked very
Yeah,
normal, very like it felt very real, and you
God,
knew it was animated, but it was so carefully done that like you really. I mean, so like when he finds Kaio like in the shed,
she's all beat up and stuff.
yeah, and it was
Oh
just
my
like,
God.
I mean, you just really because nothing about it was filmed in a way. It wasn't directed in an exploitative. Am I saying that right? Ex, exploit. It wasn't exploiting the character. You know what I mean? Like you really just. It was the horrible nature of the scene that got you. You know what I mean? Even
Yeah,
when they go to see the Christmas tree, for example, and they do that spinning shot, that would have been an upskirt in another lesser show. You know what I
I
mean?
didn't
They
think
would have.
about that, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it just the way it's shot is like it's shot
There's already
maturely.
so much adult stuff that's going on. It's almost like
Yeah,
it tries to like maintain the purity
yeah,
of being a child when like you have to deal with being beat like some your friend being beaten by her parents,
yeah,
and stuff and like knowing that she's gonna get murdered, and
yeah,
like this other stuff is like so intense.
yeah, and that he's a kid who cares for this girl, but also at the same time he's still mentally 29. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's like, so I think overall, I think it's very tastefully handled,
Oh my
and
God.
just I mean, really, just very professionally directed. Because even like Anohana did like the kind of sexy scenes or something. Like they had like shots that would accent like a character's something or other,
Boobs.
basically.
Titty
And the
shots.
characters were overall older in that show, but the ghost was, I think, a little younger than they are in this show. So I don't know. And that was the same director. I was just really impressed. It was just nice to see a series that really was just so maturely handled. I don't know, but it was especially in terms of the content that it's doing. Because I guess what I'm trying to say is there's just so many other shows that have mature content in some way that are directed like Triage X or something like that.
Right.
Where it's like just something about it is just like grown
Like
into
like
its.
this is way more mature like in concept than it is in like sexually.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Even
And
though it
I
does
just
deal with like sort of like romance stuff, it's
yeah
really like PG. And
yeah
like when they're holding hands, you're like, oh, they're holding hands everywhere they're going.
I couldn't even like be on about that because I was like so tense. It's
Well,
just like
because you want it so bad. You want him to get this girl out from later being. So she was beaten by her parents and then murdered. How shitty is it with having no
yeah.
friends, being picked on in school and stuff like that, and like here's this guy trying to turn it all around.
So do you think so? In the first timeline, it seems like she was kidnapped and then murdered. But in the second timeline, where he tries to fix things and she still ends up dying, do you think that it almost seemed like she was killed by her mom?
Right. Well, it did show
Yeah,
like feet, and then them being like, what are we gonna do, or
yeah.
whatever. But that's sort of, I mean, that would imply that they're the serial killer because of the other sort of like MOs, and I'm not exactly sure if I'd buy that.
Or what's interesting to think about is that they didn't kill her in the first timeline. The serial killer, like he did save her from the serial killer,
Oh, and
but
then her parents beat her to death.
yeah, he wasn't able to save her from her mom, which was, because the teacher was already getting ready to like kind of try to do stuff to like get her out of the household and stuff like that. And it just seems like because of how he changed events, he pushed the mom into.
I don't know.
I mean that's kind of how I took it. I mean I know he didn't like say that in the show, but like that's kind of how I understood it. Was like, okay, he may have like he may have actually succeeded in his plan against the serial killer because she wasn't alone anymore and she wasn't by herself, but she was still in a situation that by just without a serial killer was horrible.
Did they
Um,
say when they went back who was blamed for her murder?
I don't think so. I think it was perhaps
The same guy? I don't know.
the same guy, but I don't remember that being mentioned actually.
Yeah.
Uh,
Maybe it's episode six. Gotta watch episode six. Yeah, I don't
and
know.
it's bad too. They listed her date of death as being March, what was it, 3rd? And when you see the days on the calendar going by, it's like the third. Didn't the third pass and all that? It was like went into the 15th. I was just like,
Yeah, this is so intense. What were your thoughts on? Do you think that the ice skating competition had anything to do with anything?
I thought that was a really interesting scene because it showed how, in his intent not to change things, he actually ended up doing the exact same thing.
And it even because before he didn't have the relationship with him earlier, but then she was pissed at him because she said, you said you wouldn't lie to me.
Yeah, yeah, and he said he would do his best and all that.
Right.
And he would win.
And then he didn't. And then
And
the
he
other guy
still,
was pissed off at him too.
yeah. So it actually makes me wonder if, as soon as that happened, I got a bad feeling.
Well, and wait, I had a bad feeling from the get. I mean, as soon
Yeah,
as this was in 1988, I was like, it's all over.
yeah.
But and I mean, as soon as the car passed, I had a bad feeling. I don't even. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
just the car passed. Like, what did he say? Oh, right. I don't know. In like episode 2, it said like everything freaks me out. A car approaches the friend, or a car approaches. I get freaked out. The friend's like, recently, have you read the student composition manual? And I was like, why does that make me so nervous?
I forgot about that scene. Yeah,
That's
I got,
such a plain statement, and I was just like,
yeah,
oh, oh.
yeah.
I'm like, oh, it's
And
fine. Everything's fine.
it really shows you how well the tension is kept through all the episodes. Because even on like a scene where like it's really setting up this new cast of characters,
Yeah.
it makes you focus on everything else again. Like, oh shit, what's going on?
Yeah, man.
Uh, I guess I should go back and actually look at my notes.
God,
I'm just like even talking about it is like
I know. It's like I want to watch the 6th episode, but I don't know if I can handle it. I'd like might be too intense.
well, I almost don't want to watch it because I'm gonna have to wait days for the next
I
one.
mean, it's coming. The next one's coming out tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's like in 18 hours. Last I checked.
Are you checking it right now? You're like, yeah. So another thing, I guess, I love that they got Asian Kung Fu Generation to do the opening. The opening is fantastic. The video is really good.
Oh,
But the band is great. They've done a lot of really excellent openings, and I can't remember the last time they did an anime opening actually. And so it was really fun to see that. And I'm also glad that they kept the opening for the second episode because it really. They didn't spoil that first episode for in the opening 2 minutes.
I don't even
Uh,
remember what spoil you're talking. Oh, the dead mom spoil, or
no, but well, not even necessarily that, but just the whole flashback time thing.
oh yeah,
I
yeah,
just
yeah.
like that they kept that as a surprise. If you hadn't read the manga or anything in the first episode,
Right.
I thought the ending theme was the song. I didn't really care for. I really liked the video. The video is really
God,
cool.
the video just making me feel is the girl with the little backpack skipping along. Why do you have to die? Oh my god.
uh,
Dude, what
oh
was
jeez.
another like freak out scene? Like, do you remember when you saw the guy, the smart kid talking to the teacher? And
Yeah.
I was just
Oh
like,
god.
what's going on? And really they were just planning the birthday party.
But you know what? That's interesting because they gave him one of two of his where it's like a creepy setup for one of his scenes. Because the second one is when it was when the car passes.
The composite, maybe he's the murderer.
Maybe he has something I don't know. Because like he's always looking at our main character whose name I didn't write down. Uh,
Okay, main character.
yeah, but you know, because you are supposed to take that as well, he's smart and he's keeping an eye out for him, and you know they're all buddies and stuff like that. But he's been given two scenes
He
where he's
almost
looked.
seems like he's also an adult, or like he seems like too smart for a fucking kid, you know?
Oh shit!
Another person
What
can
if
do the flashback things?
what if another person can do the flashback
I
thing?
don't know. God. This is like maybe we need to actually finish anime before we start like throwing around all of our crazy fucking ideas. I was like, what if they're just aliens? Aliens everywhere. And they're like, yeah, man, aliens. And then everyone's just like, you guys are fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Or was it like
Well,
don't be dumb or whatever? What was it the quote
yeah, yeah,
says?
and that's interesting too. How the girl he works with at the pizza place also was saying that in the fifth episode.
No, it freaks me out.
Was that just like coincidence,
Freaks me
or is
out.
there some
I
like
don't know.
is there some connection?
I can't handle this. Oh my god. And then
I mean,
and then wait, what was it like when they went to the museum together when he took her out on a date?
yeah, which was kind of like the race, right? Because he ran into her there before,
Right,
and that's what he was remembering.
right. So and then like when he started like remembering other things of her, like did that freak you out? Because I was like, oh no, he's done nothing.
Yeah,
Like she's
it's
gonna
like
die. And then so like I'm freaking out about that, but then the friends show up and I'm like, it's a group of friends together. Like it does matter. Like she has friends now. She had friends before, you know, it's just like, oh my god, I'm freaking out.
well, where the show really stabs you in the heart and then like cuts it out of you and then eats it in front of you while you're still somehow alive is when she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry I didn't get your birthday present ready." And then the last time she sees her, she's like, "I'll bring it to you tomorrow. I promise." And then he sees in that fucking trash bag
Her gloves.
for him, right?
Wait, was that I thought that those were the gloves.
Those was a different pair. That she was making him gloves.
Oh my god, what? I thought those were her that he gave to her.
I paused it and they looked knitted.
Well, the ones that he gave to her looked knitted too.
Yeah, but it had the bunny rabbit on the.
I don't know.
I don't know because at first I thought she was knitting him a scarf or something like that, but I think it was the gloves. And the fucking mom grinned when after she threw it
Yeah,
out.
what the fuck,
That was
man?
messed up. Yeah, and that's where it was like I actually for my note is just all capital letters jumbled up with like exclamation it's just all like just
Mine
just
is
like
all
pounding.
capital. Mine was all capital letters. Don't you do this to me, anime? Don't you do this?
Yeah, I mean that really, and then that shot of her parents like wondering, or her mom wondering what to do, and like her like foot in the foreground.
Right.
I mean, I didn't pause that shit because I just let it go by, but
Like
like I
if you
just saw it.
pause,
I
you
was
might have
just
just
like,
instantly vomited. You know, just in the way. "Ah, blah," you know, like yeah,
yeah,
like when he's knocking on the door trying to like get her, and they're not
yeah,
answering, saying, "What are they gonna do with this body?" Oh my god. I really want this to have a happy ending. If it doesn't have a happy ending, I might be changed forever. I'm too emotionally invested in this shit.
Well, this is why I texted you and I told you that I feel like Aqua from Konosuba,
Yeah.
what we did last
Yeah.
time. I don't want to leave the cage,
Don't
man.
leave
I'm
the
fine. I'm
cage.
fine in the
I'm
cage.
fine.
I'm fine in the
The
cage.
outside world is
The outside
scary.
world's too scary. Yeah. And then, of course, first time Kyle smiles in the show is at the Christmas tree.
Yeah. And then their Christmas party was so sweet too, with all the friends and
Yeah.
everything. And then it was so nice because like the way that they do it too with memory is he's like, oh yeah, this did happen, but had to
Yeah.
like trigger it because it was so long ago. You're like, oh yeah, deja vu. Like right, this is how it happened. Then he like talked about how when they were going up to the tree, how he said that he saw these two foxes, but no one
Yeah.
believed him because he was alone. But then he was
Yeah.
with somebody, you know.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
that's so sweet.
and I feel like the way it handles memory is really cool because I really feel like that,
It's like
if
legit.
let's say it's legit, like if we went into that same situation, it would be similar. It'd be like,
You're not like, I know everything that's gonna happen. I'm
yeah,
gonna fix it. You're like, God, what was that kid's name
yeah,
again? Like,
yeah. It's like because you're trying to catch up on, and especially like their old hideout. That's a thing we didn't see. The hideout.
yeah, but then wasn't there like a flashback of him going to the hideout? It was
Yeah,
like a
because he went
shed, but then
there.
like I didn't see him actually. Like he was like, oh yeah, and then I went to the hideout to get these gloves, but I didn't actually see him go to the hideout earlier.
Yeah, and then when he passed that was the night that Kyle was abducted. So when he passed the place again, she was already gone. And so that's what he blamed himself for. And they said they don't usually go to the hideout in the winter because of the tracks or
Right,
something.
leading the footsteps.
Second half of the show, bet you fucking money he's going to take her to the hideout and try to like keep her safe there or
Maybe.
something like that. Yeah.
And then the guy's gonna find the tracks, and then they're gonna fight.
Yeah.
And because the main character's been learning kung fu in the future, he's gonna fuck that bro up. Please.
What's really funny about this is like when he was trying to jump the wall in episode 5 to escape from his manager's place. When he was halfway over it, I was like, dude, you do comic books. You're gonna make it like 10 feet. I was like, you're like not.
And also, like, it wasn't like he like cleared it. He was like, ah,
Yeah,
God.
he was like, ah.
Struggling with his like leg, trying to like get up there, and then he like fell. And the girl was like,
Yeah.
God, so good, so
Uh,
good. I really don't want her to be dead.
no, I like that when she was dead, when he did all of that for three
Oh, well, I
episodes.
meant the present day girl.
Oh, the present day
I don't
girl?
want her to be. I also don't want the other girl. I don't want anyone to be dead. The mom is cool too. All right,
The
like
mom's really cool.
yeah.
I like how when they before they go to dinner in the first ep or before she's invited the high school girl over for dinner, but she's like, "This is your mom? I thought it was your older sister." And he was like, "Yeah, she's a yokai," and she's like, "Yeah."
I forgot what yokai meant, so it didn't like quite hit me. But like, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I probably didn't.
Dude, do you know what the title for episode 6 is for Erased? Grim Reaper.
I'm so scared.
I know. What?
And the fact that there's no preview, it just
Right,
stops. You know,
on
there's
India.
no like, there's no happy little preview where it's like next time on
Right.
the town
It's like
where only I am missing.
you get no hints. There's no,
And then the fucking story that she wrote in like the student storybook.
how she wanted to go on an island away from everyone where there were no parents or no kids or
Yeah, and that if everybody forgot about her, she'd be so happy.
oh my god. And she was almost saved. At least she got a little bit of happiness before she got beat to death by her mother. Fuck. Dude, do you remember the scene when she was shoving her face into the water full of ice cubes to try to get the
like
bruising down before Monday?
get the swelling down.
Oh my god.
And the guy's like, "Oh, leave some ice for me."
Right, for my drinks.
And I think it's one of these things where it's like, okay, so you have like space aliens or zombies and stuff like that, and that's terrible. And then there's some like axe murderer shows, which are kind of ridiculous.
Right.
That scenes like that, I think, are the most disturbing
They're
because
the real monster. Like, there's monsters, but they're
well, you know it's going on somewhere,
right.
like somewhere out there that's happening.
This shit is for real.
Yeah, and it's not in a war zone. It's not in like some like country that's got all these or like all these civil war stuff. That's even like that's a whole nother level of horror. But just in like places where you think that everything looks fine.
Right. Or like, oh well, like that little kid sure is really bratty. She doesn't
Yeah,
really want to talk to anyone. God, she should just lighten up. It's like, listen,
yeah, about that.
never. I'm gonna never. I'll be like, hey, are you okay? And she's like, I'll be like, what? They're like, what are you, a 29-year-old? And I'll be like, yes, I am. 11-year-olds. Do you need help?
Yeah, because I think that's what was so affecting about the show. I mean, there's a lot of things, but one of the most affecting parts of it was just knowing that like all through time, like in 1988 to now, before 1988, shit like this has gone on, and just how devastating it is to think about, like how many people, it's like people who disappear, especially kids and stuff like that. But even the people who live through it, and like grow up and stuff like that, it's like those situations where it's like happening like right next door, and you never know about it.
Right.
Like
Or like what was it? Like the teacher kept on trying to call the child services on the parents, but then they were always away when they showed up or
yeah,
something like that.
and they wouldn't go often enough or make it pressing enough to follow up on it.
Do you suspect the teacher?
I do.
Yeah, me too.
I suspect everyone.
I suspect everyone.
I suspect everyone, because there was that interesting point where he found a man's boots leading away from the shed.
Yeah, rubber boots.
Yeah,
But I don't know.
yeah.
Well, also it could be a boyfriend,
It could be.
or it could be fucking little blonde kid.
Yeah, just like big boots, right? The blonde kid does like. Since you mentioned that, like that does the fact that he's been in 2 creepy scenes.
Right.
There was just like a weird presence.
But all the scenes are creepy.
I mean, all the scenes. Yeah, I mean that's the problem. All the scenes are creepy, but
Yeah, 17 hours until episode 7.
we could just podcast until episode 7 goes up.
What it's like just under 2 hours of content, and then we do like a 17-hour podcast while we're just freaking out about like aliens and like squid men, possible like suspects and shit.
Oh God, yeah.
But yeah. I have a thing in all caps like after the party. It says the conversation he had with the teacher was to plan the party, not to commit murder.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
And then do you remember when the guy was like, when he accidentally said out loud, like, "You're cute," and then one of the dialogues was like, "Are they gonna get married?" It's like, nah, man. First they have to get engaged.
And one of the kids was like, "What's that?"
Which is just like, just so good. It's like just that everything about this anime is just ridiculous.
Did you like the video game stuff? Dragon Quest 3? Like the original Final Fantasy stuff,
right?
Like that was pretty.
They were like, only Dragon Quest people talk to Dragon, and only Final Fantasy or whatever.
Yeah, and then they translated it as Nintendo, but he said Famicom, which was like one of the old consoles in Japan, which might have been the same as something similar we got here. But
interesting.
Yeah, I'd have to actually look.
Those things were on Nintendo, so it makes.
Yeah, it might. I think it. I mean, some of, if more people. Maybe
that's what they called Nintendo.
Yeah,
who the fuck knows?
Exactly. It probably was a Nintendo product. It was like I recognized the name as it was just fun. Not that I ever played Famicom or anything like that, or I was alive. I mean, well, I was alive in 1988. It just was Marvel. Um,
Cluster of cells.
and then her previous gloves were burned. It looked like, or something like that. They were burned oddly though, because it looked like there was like a stretch in them.
I thought that it was like a maybe they got like wet and moldy or something like that. But I thought that like when he stepped on them, it was when they separated or something weird like that. I don't remember. Oh my
And that
god.
her mom cared enough about appearances to like dress her up nicely to like
Well,
make
yeah.
sure.
Well, they said that, but really, it's just dressing her up to hide the bruises. It's not
Yeah,
trying to dress her up so she actually looks cute.
I did thought it was badass that his mom like came in and was like, "Stop that! Stop him!
Oh, when she
Stop!"
stopped it from slapping and said like, "Oh, like we should have tea or something like that." God, that was so
Yeah.
gangster. And
Oh,
then
when
you
she was like,
remember that she dies.
yeah, because she was like, "I feel like our households are similar. You should come over and have tea sometime." I was like, "Bam!" I was like, "That's a fucking line."
Yeah,
Like that. That's a mic drop. That's like, what do you have to say about
that's
that?
so gangster.
Ah, yeah. So it's really interesting. Like, I really, it's like he's got to get her out of the house somehow. He's got to get her away from the mom. But then there's also the serial killer. It's like it's a compounded problem because I really do think he saved her from the serial killer. I think
Did the mom just happen to beat him to death?
yeah, and I think he might have even gone to the house to try to abduct her.
You know, and it didn't say like where they found the body, if they found the body at the same place or a different place,
That's true.
or you know, like there's a bit that's. But I mean, granted, he just got back to present day, like halfway through episode 5,
Yeah.
which like freaked me. Like I was not expecting that either. I was expecting
No.
him to save the girl. I wasn't expecting him to go back in time. Then he went back in time, changed nothing. What?
You know, I mean, I know they can't do this because of the nature of the show, but you know, what would really suck is if someone was going through this and they had to live through their entire life past that point to figure out what happened. You know what I mean? Like he never bounced back. Like he had to just go through that whole cycle, and he maybe
I
he
kind
goes
of
back
felt
again.
like it was gonna like end after he sort of finished resolving all of his childhood
Yeah,
stuff, and then he would just sort of
go through it.
like go through it, or just be bounced back and walk home, and his mom was there making that delicious fucking curry and rice.
Yeah. What'd you have for breakfast? Curry.
Well said. It's like I bet it was curry. It's like yeah, because you made so fucking much.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm really interested in what's going to happen because we've got because also too the mom stated too that it's past the statute of limitations because it's been like 18 years or something like that,
Right.
which is possibly why he's active again. But then there was those other kidnappings that had
How's the
happened.
statute of limitations work?
I thought the mom said that in the
She
first
did say
episode.
that. So with the first person,
Yeah.
but then I was thinking like I thought that meant if you got out of prison.
I think that means they can't be convicted of like something that happened that long ago.
Interesting.
I mean, I don't know because also at the same time in episode 5 he reads about how there were other
Right.
kidnappings, but we don't know if those are connected right now or not. I mean, now that blonde kid is like number one on my fucking list. He's
That's
like
so funny.
he's
I said it in a
he's way
joking
up
way,
there
and
now.
you're like, yes.
No, really. I mean, if he can do it, because we don't know anything about this ability to go back in time, right?
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah, I have no idea how what it entails or how it I don't know even works. So
yeah, because there doesn't seem like it's. He's obviously not controlling it in any way.
yeah, it's nuts.
It's fucking nuts. It's a great
It's a
show.
great show. I don't know if I can think of anything else to
I
really
think
bring
I'm
up.
done. I mean, I think I'm just like emotionally
Just
devastated.
yeah, just talking about it for as long as we have has just drained me so much that I'm not sure. Well, actually, I'm gonna go
Yeah,
watch the sixth episode. That's what's gonna happen.
yeah. I mean, in terms of the question of like, will we keep watching it? Like,
Yes, yeah,
yes,
yes, we will.
yes, we will.
Yeah, probably talk about it again when it's over. I'm thinking. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll do when the next 6 or whatever are out. Maybe we'll do another episode
Unless
about
it's
it.
bad.
I think. Unless it's really bad.
'Cause,
Yeah.
like,
But yeah, let's plan on let's plan on doing
yeah,
another
I really
episode.
want to know the rest of this.
Because I just think we'll need like a so like with Perfect Insider it was like we had to just like find out what happened and like talk about that for a
With
minute.
this, it's like I feel like I sort of know. Like I don't see it as so much of a mystery, but just like watching it unfold. Like
Yeah,
how is it gonna unfold as opposed to like a whodunit.
yeah. Because I feel like when it's done airing, we're gonna need another just to like debrief about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just to like have a like, you know, uh, just to like come down off of it. But so yeah, I think that blew through all my notes.
Yeah,
What are we doing next?
good question.
I was trying to check the chart. Uh,
Um, did we do Showa? I don't even know what Showa is.
yeah, let's do that next.
Or E Agent. There's also the first five
Uh,
of those.
yeah, we could do. I just
Yeah, we'll figure something out. We'll you'll know next when we do
yeah,
something.
you'll know on Monday.
Just
But
watch all
thanks.
the anime. Watch all the
Yeah,
first
just
5 episodes of all the anime, and we're good.
just watch all of it. Yeah. Well, thanks for listening, everybody, and I hope everybody has something good to drink after watching
Yeah,
Erased.
to sort of replenish all those tears that you shed. Swap the
Yeah.
feels. Yeah. We'll see you guys next time. Ha ha.